Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So today we're going to be discussing a little bit about some of the damages that we had from the STPR on the rally car. But before I do that, I want to show you guys this. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you've probably seen some videos of me working in here, and it's always been really messy in here. So this is quite the accomplishment for me. It hasn't been this clean in a very long time. It's not just clean, it's actually kind of organized, except for like random stuff, but this is like scrap stuff that I'm just gonna take and it's all junk, whatever. So I gotta find some places for some things. This is trash, but once all this is gone in a couple days, this thing will be super clean and organized. And mostly the reason why is because we're gonna start working on that thing, that Datsun 240Z that's been in the back of all of my videos for the past year and a half. So we got a nice clean garage, and that's gonna make working on that car so much better, as it always does until I trash it after 5 minutes working on it probably. Anyway, I'm gonna pull the car in and then we'll see exactly what the damages are from the race. Clearly the car is a lot louder than it was because most of the damage that we had was exhaust stuff. But we're going to start from the front and see and go. But we're going to start from the front of the car and try to go through it. And honestly, this is a lot of my inspection, just seeing what is actually broken on the car that wasn't before, because I haven't really looked at it other than cleaning the outside of it. Try to get all the mud off before, like a couple weeks ago. But now we're actually going to dive a little deeper into it and see if there's anything major that's wrong with the car right now. So if you didn't see the first stage video, I went off, went wide left into an embankment because I just went way too fast into a right 3, braked way too late, and then just understeered straight into the embankment.
We're good.
All the damage was pretty much to this side of the car, which was not much. There was a bunch of stuff stuck in the wheel. Ripped the bumper down, but luckily I had these springs, so it literally just popped the spring off, and like it was hanging off quite a bit. So I literally just clipped the spring back on. Super convenient. No major damage to any of the steering components, at least not that I've seen so far. I'm not going to jack it up and fully inspect it, but it doesn't pull driving down the highway or anything like that, and no weird vibration, so that's good. It does look like I cracked my headlight. So yep, that's fully cracked in half. That's awesome. Not too big of a deal. Scuffed some more paint off of this thing. Probably bent this housing, but nothing major at all from that. And really no other damage here other than probably more paint missing. This did happen. So we got a broken windshield. We caught another Subaru Impreza on, I think it was special stage 6 or something like that. It was the second run of the first stage, so Levo 2. And we caught them, and they were flinging a lot of large rocks at us. I just eventually backed off because he wasn't pulling over, but it was too late. Looks like impact was somewhere around here, and then it's spiderwebbed up, and now it's slowly climbing up even more. It's all the way up here now. So this is going to have to be replaced. You can't rally with a cracked windshield, at least not with spiderwebs like this. You can do it if you have like one crack, because as soon as it starts branching off and all these weird little jogs, that's when it's not approved anymore. And continuing on to the inside of the car, obviously not so much broken, but mud everywhere. So if you didn't see one of the videos, I think it was the first waste management run, the underbody got ripped off there. You can kind of see it. I had to cut most of it off. So yeah, I think Jeremy was the one who said it. I should have mounted something a little further up here to actually hold these edges on, because it came down on a like small jump. Then it kind of bottomed out and scraped the ground, bent this stuff back. Ended up having to cut it off, but it ended up putting a hole in the floor, which you can see back there. That's Gorilla Tape holding it. But initially, before that Gorilla Tape was there, went through a large puddle, and yeah, this happened. And then in the center of the car, underneath, we'll see if I can even see it without jacking it up. But we got the exhaust. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it. that is the super ghetto fix that I did at like 2 o'clock in the morning. On Friday, I guess it was Saturday morning, but hit a huge rock on waste management on the second to last run, so stage 8. Hit a huge rock somewhere down there, put a huge dent in the exhaust. I don't think you can see it, but somewhere down there it's got a huge dent in it. Anyway, it ripped right there at the collector. It's not a weld, and it just literally like ripped it cleanly. So we just hammered it back in place. I welded as much as I could. I had to borrow a generator because mine does not work well enough, or the borrowed one that I had from my dad didn't work well enough to get any sort of welds down. So we did that. Not very good penetration, so welded some bolts to it. Try to give it a little bit more strength. And then after that, so that was all good. We fixed that for that day. And then a couple stages later, the exhaust bolts rattled loose over here because I didn't do a very good job, and honestly just used the cheap hardware that I had, came with it. So that ended up dropping down and scooping up a bunch of mud in service because service was a lake. Which led to the cat getting clogged on the last stage. So we had no power for the jump, which really sucked.
So we're trapped into a right next to the caution jump.
I can't go fast.
And then I just cut it off with a sawzall so that we could even drive it because it was getting so bad that it had 0 power and it would just stall out. And I forgot to mention where the exhaust actually separated. It caused a lot of issues with the O2 sensor. I ended up having to replace that on Saturday morning as well, because like right where it severed was literally probably half an inch, if even, behind the O2 sensor, the front O2 sensor, so the wideband that the car's.
Left one.
And then that caused a lot more issues, and it really didn't want to run. Luckily, the Advanced Auto actually had one in stock, and we were able to replace it, change the car, made it run so much better, which that probably was an issue too from before, because I know I had an issue with that O2 sensor during the last rally, that I thought that issue was caused by that, but the car definitely ran way better once we changed that. Other than that though, the car really ran great. Didn't have any major issues. It looks like the alignment is still perfectly fine, so no slipping of the alignment or anything like that, at least as far as I can tell so far. Obviously we'll jack it up, make sure everything's good and tight for the next rally. The next rally is not for a very long time. We have no plans for a while, unfortunately, except for like local rally crosses, but no stage rally for a while. Can't really afford it, it's too expensive, and my schedule doesn't really align with any of the rallies either. I will be working on this pretty soon though. I want to do a few more things before this just goes on the back burner and I start working purely on the Datsun. So it's going to be pin stands. I want to finish those up because that would be really nice not having to deal with jack stands anymore on this thing, because they get super wobbly when you're on like crappy gravel, even with boards underneath it. And the mud that we had at service also made it super sketchy to go into there and weld. So definitely going to make the pin stands. So I got to do the rear mounts and then make the actual pin stands, and then I'm going to plate the bottom of the rocker panel somehow. Not sure exactly how I want to do it, but we're going to come up with some way to make them a lot stronger and serve more as a jack point. That way if we ever need to like change a tire or something like that, we don't have to worry about using the pinch welds, because there's really nothing left of the pinch welds in this car right now. But that's it as far as updates. I don't really have much more on this car. It did really well for what I can expect. I got to mess with the brakes too. Forgot about that. So they went to the floor a couple times during the rally. Oh fuck. I'm gonna slow down. Brakes went to the floor.
Oh.
You're good. Just keep going.
All right.
And that was definitely a pucker moment, because one of the times it was like 85, 90 through the trees on one of the fastest stages that they have. And it just went straight to the floor and pumped it, and then it was fine. So I just kept checking it like every couple of seconds. But no, I think I'm getting a phone call. All right, since I was rudely interrupted, it did actually remind me that I want to talk a little bit about how the first ARA rally actually went compared to the NASA rally that we did, and kind of like how I think that they compare. Now, STPR in a whole, much more fun. That rally was amazing. The fast flowing roads in the forest were a lot of fun. I did not have nearly as much fun on the waste management stages, and I went significantly slower than the car is capable of because of the fact that I didn't want to break it, which I guess the car maybe not that capable of it, but I really didn't want to break it, so I just really took it easy on it. I started to go pretty fast during the first run of it, and then we hit some super rough spots, and I was just like, no, not worth it. I want to have fun on the other roads and actually get better as like a driver, and that's what we did. So we conserved the car through that and didn't go nearly as fast, so we lost a lot of time on those stages compared to a lot of people, but we picked up a little bit of time compared to like more of like our peer group on the forest stages, because we were slowly improving on those, and it was a lot of fun because the notes come into play so much. You really have to trust the co-driver with that, and it helps that they stay on, which my wife got really good at it near the end. She started off really well too, but she got lost a few times, which I don't blame her. I probably wouldn't be any good at it either if I was doing it, so I imagine that it's really difficult over there, but we definitely started meshing a lot better as a team, with me being able to pay attention to her notes and her note calling. And it's a lot of fun to actually like push yourself when you get those notes on like the 5s and 6s and even the 4s, to try to see how fast you can actually go and try to maintain more speed. Definitely in the future we probably want to do our own recce and probably write our own notes, just so that we can actually get that down, and that we can actually like trust more of what we're doing. Because when you write your own, you can actually include things like flat out, stuff like that. Not necessarily flat out, but like write 5 max or something like that. Like instead of just being like write 5, do I need to let up a little bit for that or something like that? Or whereas if we're doing 2-pass recce, really be able to actually see that and try to figure out more beforehand if it's something that I can actually carry a lot more speed through. But that'll come with practice, and like I said, we want to make our own notes in the future. But this rally was a lot of fun in comparison to sandblast, because sandblast, thick sand, really deep, really hard on the car, just because it was so much drag on the drivetrain. So it really made a big difference with how much power you have available, and you just suck up momentum as you come into corners. Like you start going sideways, you're like, oh, and there goes all my momentum. But on the clay / gravel roads, it was super quick, and you can carry a lot of speed in there. And it was a little wet, so it was a little slippery. A lot of slippy in the notes, that's for sure. That's all I got for this video. Appreciate you guys watching. Have a good day. I'm gonna get back to work cleaning the garage, and then get this thing out of the garage. Start working on the Datsun eventually. We'll see you guys with the next video though.